I made it back to Helena this morning by 8 for a breakfast meeting to prepare for the House floor. It was a good thing that I did because there was an outfitter bill that I wanted to stand up on behalf of the sportsmen, but my business and labor meeting didn't start until 11, so I was able to go and get my first exercise of the entire session between that first meeting and 11. It was badly needed. In Business and Labor, we heard House Bill 87, which would allow the Insurance Commissioner's Office to review insurance rates, not approve or disapprove them, just review them and post them on their website. It's been brought time and time again, and who knows if it'll pass this time. And then we also heard House Bill 280, which would allow out-of-state insurance companies to sell insurance to Montanans. And so if you have any mental illness in your family, or if you're a young person wanting to start a family, or if you're an older person who's starting to have health issues, your rates essentially would go up with this bill, because all of the people in between would be cherry-picked by out-of-state insurers who don't have to follow the Montana state mandates that say you have to cover certain things if you're going to sell insurance in Montana. The news was there for the first bill, and they were gone for the second bill, but I think the second bill is the one that they probably should have been covering. I'm starting to learn some great Republican buzzwords like freedom of choice, vote for it. Sideboards, if it has sideboards on it, vote for it. Special interest groups, vote against it. If I could just learn that language, I think that this whole thing would probably be a lot easier. This 280 is yet another bill that widens the gap a lot between. It does a lot for a few people and basically does it on the backs of the 99% of us. Our business and labor meeting lasted basically through the lunch hour. I grabbed some leftovers that were in the fridge from Saturday, and right before the floor session started, I found out that another representative from Butte has been asked to carry the governor's bill that directs the lottery proceeds towards a buildings fund. So now we really do have two bills that are in conflict with one another. And then Denise Juneau, the superintendent of instruction, gave her State of Education address and called out my bill our bill, not mine really anymore, asking people to please support putting this lottery money into the hands of actual living, breathing people. It'll be really interesting to see how that happens. We heard so many bills on the floor today that we didn't even get through them all. So at 3 o'clock, the one bill that was left over for discussion automatically got moved to the next day. We heard House Bill 157, 187, House Bill 206. When we got there, we had information on our desks, and the reason I'm going to show this is because really anyone could do this. It's information about the bill, and it's prepared by a lobbyist for the Association of Counties and then distributed to every member so that we have it on our desk when we go to vote. And really, any one of you could do that. Anyone can distribute information about a bill for us. And I have had letters from constituents or people in Montana on my desk about a bill. So that was a bill to raise fees, and Republicans don't really like those words, so there was an amendment to raise less fees or raise fewer fees, and it ended up passing. House Bill 210, House Bill 257 was a bike bill brought by a Missoula representative, and there were so many bike haters on the floor today. It was truly astounding. I don't even know what else to say about that. There were representatives who stood up and said, we ought to be going after the bikers before we ever go after the cars to try to make it safe for biking. That was weird. House Bill 274 was the bill that I stood up and spoke on. It still passed, and it takes the authority for outfitting rules out of statute and puts it in the hands of the outfitting board. The outfitting board is made up of 4 outfitters and 2 sportsmen and 1 member of the general public. And I caught up with some sportsmen from Butte afterwards and asked them if I had spoken out of turn. They said, no, that's exactly what we wanted you to do, was stand up and give us a voice. And so I felt justified in doing that. House Bill House Resolution 2 was a redistricting bill. It was super partisan, and discussion on that was actually cut off, which I think is against the rules. So we might see some repercussions of that tomorrow. Like I said, the last item on the menu was moved over for tomorrow. In Human Services, which started at 3:15, like you had time to go to the bathroom really quick and then run to your next meeting, we heard Senate Bill 65, which expands basically a bill that we've already passed. We said that mandatory reporters should be allowed to hear what's happened with an investigation, and this also adds parents and family members to that. And then House Bill 289 mandates that a study be done on the women's prison in Billings, the state prison in Deer Lodge, the Montana Chemical Dependency Center in Butte, the Montana Developmental Center in Bozeman, a nursing care facility in Lewistown. I think everyone agrees that more work could be done in taking care of mentally ill Montanans, but I think that the party that's in the majority thinks that the solution to those problems lies in privatization of all of those state-run facilities. And so this is kind of a scary time for that study to be coming up. I'm not against the study. I just really hope that we are careful with what we do with any data that we get. That was the day. Off to one more week, week 5. Still going strong. Thanks for all the support and encouragement. And decisions are being made up here on your behalf. Decisions that affect your life. So I hope that all of you people from all across the entire state are paying attention to what's happening and holding your elected officials responsible for the decisions they're making in your honor, basically. Thanks. Good night.